Welcome back to strategiccorporateresearch.org. In this video, we'll look at search systems and how to gather information on privately held firms from the Secretaries of State. Unlike publicly traded firms that need to report on a regular basis to the Securities and Exchange Commission, privately held firms only have to register at the state level, and we can access that information through search systems. In this video, we'll also look at how we can find universal commercial code statements. And those are the statements that all employers need to fill out every time they borrow or lend money. And these UCC statements are also available from Secretary of State's office. So let's get started. From the home page, we can scroll down to privately held firms. And if we click right on question 1, basic information, you'll see the link to search systems. Search system is a meta search engine that allows you to go to the Secretary of State offices in all the U.S. states and their equivalent in Canada. If we click on search systems, we can see in their main window that we can select a state. In this case, we're going to choose Massachusetts. And if we scroll down here, these are all the public records that the Massachusetts Secretary of State's office maintains. We're going to go back up to the company search. And you can see right now this is a link to the Secretary of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. And this is a search for a business entity. So we can type in the name of a firm we're interested in this case, Combat Drywall, and then select Search Corporations. And you can see there are 2 listings for Combat Drywall. The names change slightly. The older one will be on the bottom, so let's look first at Combat Drywall. The information that Secretary of State's offices gather is very basic. So here we see a location of the principal office, we see a name of the registered agent, and we see the name of officers and directors. And this is a very small company, and the same individual is president, treasurer, secretary, and director. And that's their individual address. And we can see that originally there was $1,000 that was put down to begin this firm. And we also see a list of filings that are available, and we can view these filings. We can start at the bottom of the page in the Articles of Organization and click on this blue hypertext link on the right-hand side of the page. And here we can basically see the same information that we saw on the summary page. $1,000 was put down. This was the time the firm started. Again, here is their initial registered agent, as well as the president, treasurer, secretary, and director. And it describes that what this firm does is drywall and provides an address, and that's essentially all that's provided on this registration form. So as we can see, not a very detailed report. We could go back and look at any annual report, and we're going to see a similar level of information. Again, some information on the firm, its agent, its address, its officers, and so on. So that's the basic information that you receive from a Secretary of State's office. Nowhere near equivalent to what you receive on a 10K or a proxy statement for a publicly traded firm. But oftentimes for a privately held firm, we have very little information. And this is a good start to find out the basic architecture of the firm. To find out more about the firm, we can look at their UCC statements, their Universal Commercial Code statements that they need to file every time they borrow or lend money. And we could go back to the Massachusetts Public Records page, and we can scroll down, and at the bottom of the page here is the Uniform Commercial Code filings. Another searchable database, we can search by organization. And again, once again, we can look at Combat Drywall and hit the search tab in the middle of the page. And there we have 2 UCC statements from Combat Drywall. If we click on this hypertext link, we can actually go to the filing. And actually, when we get there, we could actually even go to a PDF of the filing, which is a bit more legible to read. So we click on this blue hypertext link at the top right of the page. So what do we see here? We see a UCC statement where Combat Drywall on Bridge Street in Billerica borrowed money from the TD Bank. and it gives their address in New Jersey. It also provides some information of what they put up for collateral. In this case, it appears as though they've put up everything they own for collateral on this loan. It doesn't tell us the amount of the loan, but it does tell us that this was their banker and that they borrowed money from the TD Bank. If we go back to the UCC public search, we could look at the second UCC filing. On the top right, we can click on the hypertext link to get the PDF document. And what we see on this form is a loan taken by Combat Drywall from the U.S. Small Business Administration. And again, you can see they put up a similar amount of collateral. So we've discovered that they've received some public funding from the Small Business Administration. And this could be very important in developing a campaign. And while in this case we have just several limited UCCs, in some larger firms you're going to see many UCCs. And what you can see from them are patterns of borrowing. Perhaps they're moving into new areas. Perhaps they're borrowing for new equipment. So looking at the UCC forms are very valuable. I hope you found this video useful. Thank you.